No one lives forever, and the grave shall claim us all in time.
Now that's a pretty depressing way to start a video, but let's begin there and work our way up. This is a video that could very easily become sad and maudlin, because I'm going to be talking about all of the contestants and one champion from Britain's Got Talent who have sadly passed away. But I'm going to do my best to make this celebratory rather than miserable. Wish me luck. As positive as I'm trying to be with this video, of course, we are talking about death. At one point, we're talking about murder. At one point, we're talking about suicide. So if you are affected by any of those issues, consider this a trigger warning. Hello all, I'm Daniel Swan, and I am not in the mood to mourn these BGT contestants. I want to honour them. Yes, they've all shuffled loose this mortal coil, but they made some noise while they were still around. So let's remember just how good they were. David Watson. I had to start with David Watson. He is, if I may make a bold statement, the most classically British contestant BGT has ever had. I know, it's a hot take. For those unaware, David auditioned for Britain's Got Talent for the first time all the way back in Series 2 in 2008, when YouTube ran at a maximum of 480p. In honour of that, I'm going to ask you to leave a like on this video in 480p. Leave a like! Isn't this terrible? Speaking of terrible, here's David's first audition.
I really want to,
But then he came back, only to be buzzed off again. And then the following year...
Hello.
It's nice to be back again.
Yes, it's brilliant how you just don't give up.
And Amanda has kind of summed it all up there. He never gives up. Here's the thing about the UK, we love an underdog. There's something about a combination of being not very good and trying very hard that is just catnip to a British audience.
I call it Magician Mark II because it's another magician.
Unfortunately, David did what he described as magic, but in reality was just pouring water and beer into some glasses. I honestly don't know what he thought was going to happen. All in all, David auditioned 10 times with absolutely no success. He arrived, he did something unfathomable, and he got buzzed off. David Walliams started to warm to him, as David was wont to do with unusual people.
I like you, Dave, because you're a trier.
But Simon, unsurprisingly, remained staunchly unamused.
Beyond my imagination how you two could come up with this horror of an act.
But in Series 14, guess who's back?
Hello, David.
Hi.
David pulled out all the stops, winning with a bit of banter at the beginning that wasn't actually terrible. When he asked the other judges what colour his balloons were, they all got it right. But when he asked Simon...
What colour is this?
Yellow.
It's banana.
It's simple and it's very silly, but it does actually work as a comedy bit. And he then tried, if you can believe such a thing, an actual magic trick.
Abracadabra.
Pull it out.
Voila.
Oh my goodness me.
It's an actual trick, a genuine, honest-to-goodness magic trick. Come on, David, a nation is behind you.
I am saying yes, and you're through. What? You're the best.
He did it! What a moment. Avengers Endgame wouldn't have hit half as hard if it hadn't been building up for a decade, and neither did this. Yeah, that's right, I just compared David Watson to the Avengers. Deal with it. Now that hard-earned triumph was to be David's final appearance on BGT as he passed away in December of 2021. No details were given about his death, but the Greater Manchester Police said that it was not treated as suspicious. David was 62 years old. And whilst it's obviously a huge tragedy, we can take a lot of lessons from David's life. This was a guy who wasn't blessed with natural talent or physical ability. He didn't have an aptitude for entertainment either, really. But what he had was a modest and powerful determination and a stoic ability to not let setbacks set him back. We'll all come up against hardships in our lives, and the gatekeepers to the things we want will tell us no. And we will have the choice to give up or to try again. And hopefully, if we can take some inspiration from David Watson, we'll choose the latter. It took him 12 years to succeed, but succeed he did. Pudsey the Dog. Now this one's maybe cheating, because it's a dog, and dogs have a much shorter lifespan than humans, so of course there have been some dogs that we've lost along the way. But Pudsey won the whole show, so I think he deserves a little bit of special treatment. Pudsey, along with his owner Ashley Butler, who I guess deserves some of the credit, triumphed in Series 6 of the show back in 2012.
Ashley and Pudsey!
Their bond, their moves, and the fact that Pudsey was just the most adorable bunch of judgy-budgy codginess meant that they captured the hearts of the nation. When it comes to a talent show performer of any species, it's so easy to fall in love with the ones who are clearly having a great time up there, isn't it? Look at that tail go. He is living his best life. After winning the show, Pudsey appeared on an astonishing amount of astonishingly named TV shows like Top Dog Model, That Dog Can Dance, and The Dog Ate My Homework. And yes, they're all real TV shows. Pudsey was so famous that he even had a movie made as a vehicle for him to show how incredible he is.
I've changed my mind. Pudsey, the movie.
Gosh, that looks exciting. And with a Rotten Tomatoes score of, well, it doesn't really matter, does it? I don't listen to critics. What are reviews, really?
I think it's in cinemas because no television station in their right mind would broadcast this. Shameful, shameful. Poor Pudsey, what do you ever do to deserve it?
Oh boy. Well, I think every actor has been the best thing in a bad film at some point. It's a rite of passage. And personally speaking, I would happily just watch 30 minutes of his little scrunchy face. Scrunchy. Scrunchy. If you don't understand what I mean when I say the word scrunchy, then I don't know what to say to you. He also released an autobiography, a dog autobiography. It was called his autobiography, which is insulting to all of us. At least go with autobiography, right? Now, Pudsey sadly died in 2017 at the age of 11, but what can we learn from him and his incredible life? Well, as a dog owner myself, and here's a photo of my dogs because I'll never pass up the opportunity to show them off, Baxter and Charlie, they're perfect boys and I love them. I often feel like there are a huge amount of life lessons to learn from dogs in general. Don't hold on to negative emotions. Live in the moment. Always be willing to forgive. Seek out physical affection with those we love. There's lots of lessons. But for Pudsey specifically, we are reminded to never stop loving what we do. He always had a wag in his tail when he was dancing. Or maybe it's as simple as just dance more. Dancing is fun. Am I right, Billy?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And to think of Pudsey when you're doing it, especially if you're dancing on your hind legs. Jack Saunders. And now onto something quite different. Jack Saunders was an up-and-coming dancer, having appeared on X Factor and other shows in the UK. He later joined a dance group called Green Force 5, which from the name sounds like they danced in the day and fought crime in the evening. Green Force 5! Jack was an incredible dancer, having made history as the youngest paid dancer in the opening ceremony for the London 2012 Olympics.
Just because we get around.
He appeared on The X Factor with Lauren Platt in 2014 and on Sky One's Got to Dance in 2012, where he reached the finals as part of a different dance group, Unity UK. Before he was even on Britain's Got Talent himself, he had a connection to the show. There was a young dance group called Entity All Stars, and they made it all the way through to the final in 2015. Incredible energy, incredible choreography, just an incredible job all round. And a lot of that, of course, is down to the kids involved, but a little shout out has to go to Jack Saunders himself, who was part of the group who coached and mentored these kids to their success. But Jack was a dancer, and dancers want to dance themselves. As part of Green Force 5, he auditioned successfully for Britain's Got Talent Series 13 and made it through to the semi-finals. Unfortunately, on the 17th of March, after the episode had been filmed but before it had been broadcast, Jack was found dead by suicide. His death came as a complete shock to friends and loved ones who described him as a kind soul and loved by so many. The decision was made to withdraw Green Force 5 from the competition and to not air their successful audition. We can learn several lessons from Jack's life: pursuing your passion, putting yourself out there, and giving back to the community, which he did by coaching Entity All-Stars. But sadly, the most pertinent lesson we learn is the same as with so many victims of suicide. Reach out to your friends, check in on the people in your life, and let them know how much you love them. Not always clear who's struggling, it's not always that straightforward, so never assume that someone's doing great just because they seem it. And if you yourself are struggling, go to befrienders.org to find resources wherever you are in the world. Talk to someone, share with them, give yourself a chance. It's never truly hopeless. Nora Barton. Nora Barton auditioned in Series 14 and immediately charmed everyone in the room.
Hello. Hello.
Hello! Love it. Immediately, she's the grandma everybody wants. But the question on everybody's lips was, well, without wishing to be indelicate,
Dare I ask how old you are?
What is she?
She's asking me, 96.
96. She was born in 1924. That's the same year as the first ever Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. That's like ages ago. And yet here she is up on stage entertaining an audience at the legendary London Palladium. Amazing. Whoa, she didn't hide from that last note, did she? Absolutely smashed it. I love her. The judges loved her, the room loved her, and the nation loved her. What an incredible moment for her and her daughter Pam. She unfortunately didn't make it through to the semi-finals, but like so many incredible auditionees on Got Talents around the world, she got her moment. And what a moment it was.
I think we've got about 4,000 yeses here, Nora. Be happy again.
Now, for me to tell you that Nora passed away shortly after her audition is probably not much of a surprise. She was born in 1924, remember, the same year as Marlon Brando, for God's sake. But according to Pam,
She's sung for people all her life.
she spent her life singing for people. Again, we come back to that idea of giving back, like with Jack. She's not just singing, she's singing for people, and that's incredible. Maybe the joy that you take from being someone who tries to bring happiness to other people is exactly the thing that will empower you to live for 97 years. Maybe. Now, Nora may be the oldest, but there are plenty more people of advanced years who could count Britain's Got Talent as the highlight of their final few years. People like Henry Hall, 86, who auditioned with his very young friend Malcolm Sykes, 74, as the Pensionalities.
You and I, we're just like a couple of tots.
These two made it all the way through to the final with their lovely singing voices, easygoing appeal, and very warm comedy. Henry passed away 2 years later at the age of 88. Norma Clark was a rapper who auditioned in Series 1 of Britain's Got Talent when she was 70 years old, although she didn't much care for the questions about her age.
Forget about my age. It's what the body does.
And if I may say so, the woman could spit.
The crowd like me, spinning on the floor, he said, move yourself from my store.
See? She had bars for real. She didn't make it through to the semi-finals, unfortunately, but she certainly put some smiles on some faces. She continued to do so after the show as well, going a bit viral after she had a nosebleed so severe she ended up in the back of an ambulance where she surprised the paramedics by dropping some more sick rhymes.
I like this stuff. The crowd joined in, couldn't get enough. But we know well of rapping Sam. Made his name as a real good man, oh yeah.
Norma passed away from a heart attack at the age of 82, but she certainly made the most of her time. Janie Cutler was a Glaswegian singer who auditioned for Series 4 of BGT at the ripe old age of 80. She blew away the judges with a rendition of Edith Piaf's No, je ne regrette rien. She made it all the way through to the final of that year and reminded the world that a great-grandmother can still command a room with her voice.
No, no regret.
She passed away in her sleep 2 years later, but left the show with some incredible memories. One more in this little section, we've got Lynn Ruth Miller, who auditioned for both AGT and BGT, in fact, as a stand-up comedian.
And the girl said, "You forgot the cherry." I said, "I lost that years ago. Now I'm into nuts."
She first got into stand-up at the age of 71 and was 79 by the time she graced the BGT stage.
She said, "If you eat that, it's going to go right to your hips." I said, "They're brand new. They can take it."
She then passed away from esophageal cancer in 2021 at the age of 87. With all of these contestants, the message is so clear. You are not too old to do what you want to do. As the old adage goes, the best time to start working towards your dreams has been and gone, but the second best time is right now. Whether you're 70, 80 or beyond, great things can happen when you put your mind to it and start betting on yourself. I'm sure they would all say the same. Simonne Kerr. Simonne Kerr was a part of the B Positive choir who competed in Series 12 of Britain's Got Talent. All members of the choir either had sickle cell disease or had a loved one with the disease. Simonne was not one of the choir who had sickle cell, but her son was diagnosed at birth and lost his battle at just 6 years old. Sickle cell disease is a genetic condition that causes abnormalities in blood cells and can lead to lots of awful complications. It means that people who have it require frequent blood transfusions. So the choir was put together to encourage people to give blood. What a positive thing to do. Also, they sing really well.
And I rise up,
The choir did just that. They inspired and entertained the country in equal measure, eventually reaching the final. Tragically, soon after the conclusion of the series, Simonne was fatally stabbed in her home in Battersea. Her ex-boyfriend Desmond Silver was later found guilty of the horrendous crime. It's an awful tragedy to happen to someone so talented and so positive. And there we go. I hope this video wasn't too upsetting for you. I worked pretty hard to try and make it as positive and celebratory as possible. How did I do? And as much as I tried to cover a lot of the people, I'm sure I didn't get them all. So if I missed someone, please, please, please let me know about them in the comments down below. And guys, let me know what inspirations you are taking from all of these people who pushed for their dreams and grabbed their moment in the spotlight. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, make sure you follow Talent Recap on all social media and visit our sexy website, talentrecap.com, for all your talent show news and gossip. If you want to follow me, or at least my very good friend Not Me on socials, he's on TikTok and Instagram at @IamNotMe, I am art. I'm Daniel Swan, I thank you very, very much for watching, and now you know what's hot.